Will the housing market crash under Biden? How much will homes appreciate this year? Do I think that there's going to be more inventory later in the year? These are the questions I get asked very often. I'm going to be tackling these questions and more starting right now. Hi, Jessica Genung here with Active Realty. Today we are going to be chatting about what effect some of Biden's proposals might have on our real estate market. I'm going to be doing a little bit of forecasting, giving you my personal opinion of where I think the real estate market is headed, and I'm going to discuss our current climate from the trenches. The last part of the video, I'm going to show you our local housing market numbers, showing you what happened in December of 2020 versus a year before that, December of 2019. Let's start with the impact of Biden's proposed tax plan on real estate. What are some of the ideas that President-elect mentioned during his campaign? First, he has proposed a first-time homebuyer tax credit of up to $15,000, and that is potentially huge. This sounds a little bit different than previous tax credits. The government may be providing this money this time up front. The benefit of the credit could be collected when the home is purchased rather than later during the tax filing time. This is not the first time in recent years that the government has offered a first-time homebuyer tax credit. After the 2008 crash, there was a great first-time homebuyer tax credit, and it was up to $8,000. I should know the exact amount because I did receive this credit when I purchased my first home in Murrieta back in 2010. However, I didn't get the credit until after filing my taxes. It was not just a deduction, it was a straight credit. I received the full $8,000 credit in the form of a check that helped reimburse part of the money I had spent to purchase the home. I remember getting it pretty quickly because we closed on our home in March and we filed our taxes right away, right after that, and received the check. The Biden proposal has some ideas of possibly getting the credit up front somehow, which seems a little bit difficult to execute, so we're just going to have to see how that plays out. While I think this type of tax credit incentive will be successful in helping out first-time homebuyers get into homes, I'm a little bit concerned that it's going to further tilt this market even stronger towards a seller's market. We have very strong buyer demand currently, but not enough sellers. We need more inventory badly. We need more sellers. The inventory has been so low lately that we have had several clients that are interested in the same properties. The next Biden proposal that we will discuss is the elimination of 1031 exchanges. The 1031 exchange is a very important vehicle for investors to be able to exchange their rental properties and defer the capital gains taxes. We have a client currently in escrow that is doing a 1031 exchange, and I think that part of his motivation for doing it now is in case Biden eliminates these exchanges, because we know that they're on the chopping block. We are handling both sides of this transaction, selling first and then buying something new. For 1031 exchanges, it helps if the same agent can handle both sides of the transaction. It can make for a lot smoother process. The same goes for title and escrow. It's best if you can keep them with the same service providers to make the smoothest transaction. This client is selling a rental property in San Diego, and he is exchanging it for a home here in Murrieta that he is going to rent for at least 2 years. After that, the plan is to move into the Murrieta property, and at that time, he'll get to retire. If this tax vehicle is eliminated by the Biden administration, what does that mean for real estate? The idea proposed behind the elimination of the 1031 exchanges is to fund Biden's proposal for increased child tax and elderly care credits. The assumption is that investors are still going to be selling and exchanging their existing properties. But I think investors will just be more likely to hold on to their properties, and therefore it would have a negative effect on the real estate market, further lowering the inventory. The Biden plan, it seems well-intentioned, but it could be yet another example of unintended consequences of government intervention in the market. 1031 exchanges, they have been targeted before in previous tax law changes, but the economic importance has overshadowed the previous attempts to eliminate them. I know that our Association of Realtors would definitely go to bat to defend the 1031 exchange. Real quick, if you are finding this information in this video valuable, we would love it if you would consider subscribing to our channel and also ring that bell so that you can get notified when we post a new video, which is every single week. They've pledged to keep it low at least until inflation picks up. Their latest economic forecasts suggest that interest rates will remain near zero at least through 2023. Borrowing money is cheaper than ever, and that is why real estate is having such a crazy boom right now. There are a lot of buyers in this market, but not so many sellers. So why is this? Well, the virus is currently surging, so a lot of would-be sellers, I think, are hunkering down. The news in our area has been very concerning. I read the Press Enterprise daily, and here has been some COVID news as of late. 20 military medical workers helping Riverside County with the coronavirus surge, which thankfully they're getting help at all, I suppose. Inland hospitals, mortuaries get refrigerated trailers for surge and COVID-19 deaths, which is pretty scary. Ambulances across Southern California are feeling the strain of the coronavirus, and I've heard that there has been long waits, the ambulances kind of lining up at some of the hospitals, waiting sometimes hours to get in. I was driving by Menifee Global Hospital on my way to Heritage Lake the other day, and the COVID tents, they're back up out front. ICU capacity, it's at 0, and the vaccine distribution is lagging, as we hear. There is a percentage of people who will never agree to get the vaccine. You would think the result of a pandemic and hearing about all of these news articles would cause the housing market to dip or crash, but in fact, the exact opposite has happened. Instead, we are having massive migration patterns, and the Murrieta and Temecula area cities, their stars are rising. For many reasons, but in large part because more people are allowed to work from home. I have started hearing the term homebody economy, and for many, this is becoming permanent. This migration has opened up the possibility for many more people to move to our area. I won't list the many reasons that people are moving here in this video, but if you want to learn more about that, check out this video called Top 5 Reasons to Move to Temecula. It's one of my most popular videos and it has some great information. Let's chat briefly about the low inventory. We think inventory in our area will rise this year, we hope, assuming that we make progress with the virus. Sellers will feel more comfortable listing their homes. They have lots of equity to currently cash out on, but we do think that the strong buyer demand will absorb that inventory, and we do not expect the price increases to increase as much as they have in the past 12 months, quite frankly, because that is unsustainable. Let's get out my crystal ball and do some predictions. We anticipate there's still going to be huge buyer demand in the next few months. Interest rates, they're going to remain low through at least 2021. The Fed has already said so. The Fed has also pledged to keep rates low for years, in fact. Getting out my crystal ball here, so only time will tell, but I do expect prices to climb just at a slower pace. But this only happens if we get more inventory in the spring and the summer. If we don't see more inventory, prices are still going to increase rapidly like they are now. So a lot depends on the success of the vaccine in conjunction with herd immunity. Okay, I'm going to put away my crystal ball and let's look at some local housing market numbers. We're going to run through our typical numbers. This market report, though, we are only doing last month, December, versus prior year, December. We're not going to do prior month in this report because it's just been more of the same. But this year-over-year number, this is going to have some interesting information in it. Starting with average sales price in Murrieta, you can see in December of 2019, it was $495,000. Last month, December of 2020, it was $572,000. That is a 15% increase. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So huge percentage increase year over year, and quite frankly, not sustainable. Moving on to Menifee, average sales price, $384,000 in December of 2019 to December of 2020, $436,000. So that jumped up 13.4%. Huge increase in Menifee as well. Average sales price in Temecula increased 9.4% from $597,000 to $653,000. So I thought this was kind of interesting. I did the math, and actually Murrieta, dollar for dollar, had the highest increase of all the cities. So from December of 2019 to December of 2020, the average sales price in Murrieta went up $76,000. Like, that is a huge, that's like a year's salary for most people in just 1 year. In Menifee, it increased $51,000, and in Temecula, it increased $56,000. So yay for Murrieta. Was the best bang for your buck. I live in Murrieta, so I got to give a shout out. Apparently Murrieta was the best investment month over month in this report. All right, so moving on to closed sales, we're going to start with Murrieta. And in December of 2019, Murrieta had 173 closed sales. In December of 2020, we had 239 closed sales. That is up 38.2%. So a lot more closed sales this past December versus a year ago. Menifee's closed sales was also up very huge, almost 40%, and Temecula's closed sales was up 62%. So 124 December of 2019 and 201 in December of 2020. That is a huge difference in closed sales, which is amazing because we have such fewer listings, which is what we're going to get to now. All right, starting with Murrieta, number of listings. Number of listings is down 53%. So even though closed sales is way up, number of listings is way down, and that's why we have these crazy, 15% year over year price increases. So Menifee, number of listings is down 64% from 392 December of 2019 to only 139 closed sales last month. Temecula, same story, number of listings is down almost 50% from over 300 in December of 2019 to 157 last month, December of 2020. Last, we're going to look at days on market, starting with Murrieta. Days on market is down, just like we've been seeing. Houses are selling quicker and quicker. They're flying off the shelf. So it took 51 days to sell a home December of 2019 on average, and it took 29 days in December of 2020. So again, 58% quicker. Days on market in Menifee, it took 43 days in 2019 and only 20 days last month. Temecula, 52 days on market December of 2019 to 23 days on market in last month, 2020. Kind of interesting, I didn't put it in these stats here, but the month over month, November versus December, it took a little bit longer for December homes to sell than November, which is normal seasonality, but I kind of am wondering if it's taking a speck longer to sell because the prices have gone up so much that quite frankly some sellers have gotten a little bit greedy and I kind of wonder if that's bumping out the days on market, or maybe it's just a typical seasonal slowdown. Time will tell. Okay, we're all done, but before you go, please leave us a comment and let me know if you think I'm on track, if you think I've totally lost my mind, if you think we're heading towards the hugest crash in history. I talk to a lot of people that think that a crash is imminent. So if you're one of those people, let me know. If you think I'm right, let me know. We love to hear from you. See you on the next video. Bye.